Hey my friends, and welcome to this full body total reset. This class is going to be focused on self-massage techniques mostly, and I have a few of my favorite toys with me. So I have a massage ball here. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend. I bought this years ago and I use it almost daily. And it's such a wonderful tool, especially if you practice yoga a lot and you tend to get sore and you tend to exercise quite a bit. Wonderful little toy here. Then I have my foam roller. And then with that, I have one yoga block and one rolled up towel. So this class is for those of you who do have a foam roller and a massage ball. You won't get much out of it if you don't have these two tools. So if you have them, feel free to join me here for this full body total reset. And like I said, if you don't, it might be worth considering investing in because they are absolutely wonderful to give yourself and give your body a little bit of love and attention and care. So we're gonna work from the feet up towards the top of the body. So we're gonna start with the feet. I'm gonna take my massage ball here. For this class, feel free to play some music, anything that would feel nice and soothing for you. I'm not gonna play any music in this class so that you have freedom to do whatever you want. So yeah, place your massage ball on the floor and we'll do one foot at a time. So very intuitive here. You're gonna start by rolling, let's say your right foot onto your ball. Start slow, scope it out. I like to start in the middle of the foot, just noticing how everything's feeling, moving the ball around across the whole surface of the body for now, just to see how everything's feeling. And then slowly, you can start putting more weight onto it. So that's the advantage of doing this standing up, is that you can place as much weight onto your foot as you want. And our feet can accumulate so much little knots and tension that we're not even aware of because we walk a lot and we stand and our feet carry us all day long. So it's so important to give our feet a little bit of love. In yoga as well, we work our feet so much with all these standing postures. So this really is a go-to little technique for me. So I like to go here on the arches, especially really rolling onto the inner edge of the foot and the outer edge of the foot. So do what works here, right? I'm not giving you any strict instructions. You can see that I'm moving fairly quickly here, but you really don't have to. If you want to go slower, or even if there's one, I just found a really good knot here. If there's one knot that you want to stay on for a little while, and see if you can bring in quite a bit of mindfulness here to be in your body, to really notice everything that's going on. There's a bit of a noise outside today. Hopefully you won't hear it too much. But I guess for this kind of class, it's okay. It's not really a yoga flow. We're just giving our body a little bit of love here. Keep going. We'll stay on this foot for a little while longer, maybe getting into the heel. So you can place your toes on the ground, heel on the ball, and just kind of rock side to side. You can really go for it. Now I'm placing really quite a bit of weight on my foot, undoing all of these knots. You'll see that this feels so good once we're done. If you have a wall next to you, you can use it for balance as well. Really digging into those areas of tension. I found another good knot. Whew, this is where the expression "hurts so good" comes in. This really hurts, but in a wonderful way. All right, let's switch feet. So you're gonna roll over your ball over to your left foot. And same thing, you can start kind of gentle, scope it out, roll it around, see how everything's feeling. And then slowly you'll begin to find these knots. For me, they're always in the arches. So I just found one here on the inner arch. If you find a knot, you can stay on it, kind of dig into it, stick with your breath. Self-massage, what a luxury. Maybe you say a little something kind to your feet. Maybe you say a little thank you for everything that your feet do for you each and every day. I can feel that my right foot feels so good already. Hurts so good. Hopefully you're getting some of that as well. Don't forget to do the heel. And continue exploring. Maybe add a little bit more weights now and really go for it. This is so good for your feet. Honestly, I think we should do this every day. I don't, but we should because, like I said, our feet carry all of our weights and they can accumulate a lot of tension. All right. I think this is good for the feet. We're going to do one toe stretch, so you can let the ball go to the side. Bring your hands to the ground, knees to the floor, tucking your toes. Maybe releasing the pinky toe out of the way. And just finding a bit of a toe stretch here. So in your toe stretch, for some of you it will be very intense. If that's the case, you can bring your hands behind you and release a bit of weights out of the body. Or if you want more, you bring your upper body nice and centered. So the more you increase the angle in the toes, the more you'll feel this. We won't be here too long, just taking some deep breaths, stretching it out. All right, you can let that go. Find a tabletop position here and tap your feet on the ground just a few times to restore blood flow. All right, and now we will massage our shins. So you'll grab your foam roller, place it horizontally on your mat here, and then come and place your shins onto it. So your feet are not touching the floor. You have your hands on the ground in front of you. And here, you're just gonna roll forward and back, massaging your shins. So this, depending on the day, depending on what you've been doing, can feel super intense sometimes, or maybe not. So really it depends on what kind of tension you have. On some days, I could cry. It's so intense. Right now it seems okay. But just rolling forward and back, seeing what kind of knots you can undo in there. And again, be intuitive here. No strict instructions. You can go all the way up to the knees and all the way down to the ankles. I'm starting to feel it actually. So sometimes it takes a bit of time to really get into it. And as you place more weights, you'll start to feel this more. You'll start to notice that there is some tension in there, so keep it going. Again, if you find a specific area, you can stay on it. And this is the beauty of at-home yoga or having an at-home self-care practice, is that you can pause the video if you'd like to go for longer. For here, I think this is enough, but like I said, if you want to pause the video and go for longer, please feel free. All right, so we did the shins. Now we're going to do the calf muscles. So this is where your rolled up towel comes in. So I have a rolled up blanket here, but you can use a blanket or a towel. You're going to roll it up like a little sausage here. Let me make sure it's nice and tight. I'm going to re-roll it because it's a little loose. So you want to roll it nice and tight here. All right, and then once you have that, you'll come and stand onto your knees and place your rolled up towel, rolled up blankets in the crease of your knees. It's really important that you get it all the way in there. So not in the middle of your calves, really as far as you can into the knee crease, okay? And then once you have that, you can come and sit back onto it. Whew, this one is always so intense for me. So we're going to take some big deep breaths. It gets easier with the breath, with time. So we are going to stay here just a little while. And if you're not feeling much, it might be that your towel wasn't far enough into the knees. So try to get it really in there. And slowly, little by little, releasing more weight, sitting back onto your heels. So here again, you can kind of control the weight, right? The more you lean forward, the less weights there'll be on the towel. The more you lean back and sit back, the more you'll feel this. Maybe slowly placing more weight into the heels if you're starting to get comfortable. Leaning back, bringing the upper body upright. Trying to relax here into this. Big deep breaths. Maybe saying a little thank you to your legs for supporting you, for taking you places. You'll notice that if you tuck the tailbone down, so maybe you're arching the back here as a way to protect against the massage, against the pressure. You'll notice that if you tuck the tailbone down, try to round the lower back, you might feel this even more. So there are multiple levels of intensity here. All right, let's release out of it. Just gonna remove the towel. Keep it rolled up, we'll use it later. And we'll bring our foam roller back in. So you can put it horizontally on your mat. And now we will work the thighs and the IT band, which is the external edge here of the leg, which can tend to get super tight. It's definitely my case. This is one of the most painful exercises for me, but one that I know I need. Maybe you do too. And again, painful in a wonderful way. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come and place the side of, let's say, the left leg for now onto your foam roller. Extend your left leg, and the right foot comes here flat on the floor to give you support in front of your left leg. Okay, left hand can be on the ground or left elbow. So for me, it kind of depends. And like I said, you are on the side of your left leg, kind of towards the glutes. And here you can roll forward and back. So you'll find what you need with your hands for support. Rolling forward and back. So hip to knee and knee to hip. And as you do this, this one is so intense for me. You can also kind of roll onto the hamstrings, so kind of massaging the back of the leg here, back onto the IT band, so back onto this band that's on the external edge of the leg, or you can also kind of flip forward and massage the top of the thigh. Okay, so be intuitive with this, no strict instructions. Again, you might find, like I just did, a spot that feels particularly tight that you want to stay on. I definitely have one here. So feel free to move your right foot around, feel free to move your hands around to give you the support you need so that you can kind of effortlessly massage the entire right thigh. So like I said, you can move front of the thigh, back of the thigh, so the hamstrings, or don't forget the IT band, the side of the leg, which can get quite tight. I definitely found a tight area here. I've been doing a lot of dynamic yoga in the past few days, and I haven't been foam rolling, so this is probably why. My legs are a little angry at me right now. That's okay. We're giving them some love. I'm just rolling around. Hopefully you have some soothing music on. You can also bring that right knee down like I just did. So be intuitive with it. Whatever you need in order to massage your thigh, however it is asking of you. I'm going to scooch back a little bit on my mat. But take it easy. I will say with foam rolling, we don't want to go too hard. Sometimes it can leave bruises. It's my case when I go a little too hard. I mean, it's good for us, but if you go very hard, chances are you won't be able to do it very often because you might be in pain the following few days. So I'd say go for it, but be mindful. I guess that's the magic recipe. Go for it, but be mindful. Not to go too hard and not to hurt yourself. Oh, and breathe. If you're feeling this a lot right now, if your body feels like it's just a bunch of nerves on fire, chances are you need this way more often. So this video is here for you whenever you need it, to come back to it over and over. I'd say here with foam rolling on the legs, we want to avoid going too fast across a big surface. I like kind of smaller rolls, going kind of slowly and moving into different areas slowly. It's a good stretch too, right? Here I'm kind of in a lizard pose, modified yoga lizard pose. Really go explore for these areas of tension. That's what we're here for. All right, and then we'll switch legs. So again, feel free to pause the video if you want more of this. Otherwise, we'll do the right leg. So switching over. We'll start by placing the side of the right leg onto the foam roller. Extend the right leg. Left foot comes in front to give you support. And you're either staying high onto your hands or you can bring the elbows down. And like I said, we're exploring all sides of the thigh here. So the IT bands, the side of the leg, as well as top of the thigh and the hamstrings. And you might immediately get some cues from your body as to where to go next. So just follow your intuition here. Listen to your body. And if you're not getting any cues, if you're not really too sure what you're doing, just explore. Explore different areas, and as soon as you find something interesting, stay on it, roll it out until it's no longer interesting, until the physical sensation softens, and then you move on to another. As simple as that. You can close your eyes, really get into it here. This is one of those things that I know I need more of, but I need to be more disciplined with. So we all have some things that we know we should do more of. And we either lack motivation or time or discipline. So props to me for making time for something I know is good, and props to you if this is also one of those things that you know you should do more often, and here you are doing it. We all have things that we could spend more time on, but none of us are perfect, and we're just doing the best we can, right? And in the meantime, keep rolling. You might be discovering new places in the body that you forgot were there. That's definitely my case right now. Whew. Wow, it's tight. If you're suffering right now, you're not alone. I am too. Keep it going. All right, let's do our hamstrings quickly. So bring both legs onto the foam roller. This typically doesn't do much for me, but it's good. It feels nice. For some people, I know it can be intense, so maybe that'll be your case. Your legs are onto the foam roller, lifting your butt off the floor and just rolling it out forward and back. So the hamstrings attached to the back of the knee, all the way up to the hips. So we're massaging kind of the whole backs of the thighs here. Doesn't feel like much for me, it feels nice. But if it's intense for you, you're probably not alone. I mean, you are not alone, I can tell you that for a fact. I know it's intense for a few people here. All right, good, cool. Sit back onto your mats, remove your foam roller out of the way. I believe we won't need it anymore, but you might be surprised, but I think we're done with it for today. Grab your trusted massage ball again. And this is the time for the glutes massage, which is always so tough for me. You're simply gonna place your ball on the floor, sit back onto it. Same thing here, this is going to be highly intuitive. I typically like kind of the outer edges of the glutes. That's where I find the most tension, but you're gonna sit back onto it. With your legs, be intuitive as well. Some of you are gonna wanna sit down kind of directly onto the ball. I like feet on the floor, hands behind me, really placing weights onto the spots that I'm massaging. And you might immediately feel some tension like me. So we're gonna do the right glutes first, exploring different areas. And then I'll do the left ones here. So again, feel free to explore. Sometimes it might not look like you're doing much. So sometimes I like to place my knee down and lean back onto the ball. So it might seem like I'm doing nothing here, but in fact, I'm really going for it with a massage ball and it hurts like hell, but it's good. And just moving different areas. Here is again, a place where I like to kind of stay onto one spot, place weight onto it, wiggle onto it until the physical sensation softens, and then I move on to another area. For me, these areas of tension tend to be towards the top of the glute, almost lower back, and the external edges. And so, because of all the sitting that we do, our glutes tend to become very weak, but very tense, which is a terrible combination. So this is extremely important, self-massage, as well as glute strengthening exercise. We do a lot of glute strengthening naturally in yoga, but I can recommend the Fire Up Your Glutes class here on Home Practice Studio. I believe it's 15 minutes, focused only on glutes, and it's a wonderful one to turn back to if you tend to sit a lot. And if you're feeling this right now, you might have the weak but tense glutes syndrome, which most of us have, and we want to get to a place where our glutes are strong and relaxed. If you watch TV at night sometimes, instead of sitting on the couch, you can always sit on the floor with your massage ball. This is what I do very often. And I think I was lying earlier when I said that the IT band's foam rolling technique was the most painful. I take it back, this one is. Again, take it easy, don't hurt yourself, so you can kind of go for it, but don't hurt yourself. See, I'm kind of lying down onto it now to place more weight onto it. Be intuitive. Placing your body in whatever way you need to place it so that you can get to the area that you're trying to get to with a massage ball. Wow. Like I said, for me, it's more top of glutes, really almost on the lower back here, and external edge. I'm pretty sure all of you will be feeling this here. All right, let's move on to the other one. So left side, grab your massage ball. And start exploring. If someone saw us right now, they would think that we're doing nothing, but in fact, we're doing something very intense, so it's normal if it doesn't look like much, but I'm sure you're feeling it. And you'll know more and more, by the way, how to go about this. So I know I'm not giving you specific instructions because it's not really possible to. This is just something that you have to kind of learn to do. But it'll become more and more natural, and you'll know more and more exactly what you need. So when I'm doing my glutes, I immediately know to go towards the upper parts and the external part. But if you're doing this for the first time, it's normal if you don't really know what you're doing. But just explore away, and the more you come back to it, the more you'll get in tune with your body, and the more you'll know what feels good, what doesn't. One side might need something completely different than the other. Notice if one side feels tighter than the other as well. You could also potentially, if you work in front of a laptop, put the massage ball on your chair. No one needs to know, it's very discreet. And just work away on your glutes. Like I said, this little massage ball, such a wonderful investment. Highly recommend. I mean, if you're doing this, it means you have one, so. All right, we're good on the glutes. So we did the feet, we did the shins, we did the calves, we did the thighs, we did the glutes. We're gonna do the psoas muscle here, which tends to get super tight as well if you work a lot. So we'll use a massage ball again. You'll place it on the floor and simply come lie down onto it. So I'm just going to show you what exactly we're targeting here. The psoas muscle is what you feel here in the hip crease. So it might get quite tight. You might have noticed in your yoga practice, for example, that if you pull your knee towards you, you might feel an area of pain or of tension here. This is the psoas muscle, which can get extremely tight as well when we sit down a lot, which is the case for most of us, I believe. And so this is what we're going to massage here. So you place the ball on the floor and come and roll your hip crease area onto it, okay? And then same thing, you can explore away, just start with one spot. You might feel something going on immediately. That's definitely my case. Whew. And then you can move around. Here you want to be quite gentle, right? It's a small area. So you want to be mindful, you want to be gentle. Especially, it'll depend on the person here. For myself, when I switch areas, it doesn't feel good to just roll onto another area. I like to kind of lift myself off and place myself back down on another area of the hip crease. This is an area that we stretch a lot in yoga. Hopefully I'm doing a good job as well of giving you strengthening exercises and poses, because stretching out the hip flexors is good. For most of us, we do need a lot of strengthening as well, but this is something else that we need, is just pure massage, just getting in there, undoing the knots, undoing the tension. So this is something else you can add to your arsenal of self-care practices. Stretching is good, strengthening is good, but massaging and just physically working it is important as well. So you might see that I'm kind of shifting myself right and left here. So I found the spot of tension and now I'm just shifting onto it, kind of digging into it slowly. This can definitely be a lot, so take some big deep breaths. Some emotions can come up as well sometimes in these techniques that, release a lot of physical tension out of the body. So mental, emotional things can come up as well. That's normal. Let it, without necessarily analyzing what's going on. Just let it come, let it flow. And let's switch over to the other side. So simply place your ball underneath your left hip crease now, or your other one, whatever you were doing. Just move over to the other side. And same thing, scope it out first, notice how everything's doing, and then slowly your body will guide you. I just found exactly where I need to be. So it's kind of like you lie down onto it, you explore for a bit, you observe, and then you kind of know, all right, this is where I need to go. Mm. I can definitely feel that I need to do this more often. This is an area where when you're very stressed or anxious, a lot of tension can accumulate. So if you're feeling a lot right here, if you can just take some breaths, relax into it. You're taking time, and that's just wonderful. Mm-hmm. This is intense for you at home. I am right there with you, my friends. All right, this is good for the hip creases. Couple more breaths, and then we'll move on. Pause the video if you want more. And we'll just come and apply a little bit of pressure onto the sacrum area, the coccyx here. So earlier I said we were done with the foam roller, but we will use it one more time. Horizontally on the floor. And then you can come and sit onto it. So sitting directly onto it, it's going to come here, right here under your tailbone, your sacrum. And then lie down onto your back. And the foam roller is here under the sacrum. And you might feel a nice release in the lower back just by applying pressure here. This is a technique that often, if you go get a massage, often they will press on your sacrum to release some pressure out of the lower back. And here we get to do it for ourselves. And then from here, my friends, sacrum stays onto the foam roller. Pull your knees in towards your chest. And then from here, raise your legs up towards the ceiling. You should be, with the foam roller here under the lower back, you should be able to lift your legs without requiring any effort. So I could stay here an hour. I'm not using any muscles to do this. My legs are effortlessly lifting. My sacrum is effortlessly lifting off the ground. I'm not using my core, not using my legs. So if you feel like this is taking muscular effort, you might need to readjust your foam roller. Typically for me, it needs to be quite further forward. And if you have trouble finding that place, you can always sit against the wall and raise your legs up onto the wall. We'll be here for a minute or two, just inverting our legs. Let's do a few ankle circles here as well. In any way that works for you, make it intuitive. Hopefully your legs are feeling really good after all of this massage. Mine are feeling nice and light. Make sure to move your ankles in both directions. Exploring all of the corners, really trying to make those circles really wide. Trying to get your ankles to a new place. If they get tired, that's normal. All right. Just a few more breaths here. All right, you can pull the knees in towards you. Place your feet flat on the floor. Remove the foam roller from underneath you and come take a seat again. So the legs, the lower body is entirely done. I hope that this part of the body feels good. We'll move on to the upper body now, starting with the stomach. The stomach as well is an area of the body that can accumulate so much tension. If you tend to have stomach aches or stomach tension or digestion issues, mostly because of stress, because of carrying tension in this area, this next exercise is going to be really helpful. So you'll use your rolled up towel or blankets that we used earlier, place it here horizontally onto your mat. And what we'll do is we will lie down onto our stomachs, placing the rolled up towel or blanket at the level of your navel, your belly button. So you can come and lie down onto it. Maybe here you start with the elbows on the floor. Find a spot that feels good, but it will most likely be onto the navel. You might start feeling some immediate pulsing that is completely normal. If you feel like you have a heartbeat in your stomach, that's perfectly normal. And then if you feel ready, maybe you lower all the way down. I'm gonna keep my head up to talk to you for a bit, but you can bring your forehead all the way down. Actually, I think you'll be able to hear me even with my head down. And so relaxing onto it. If you feel pulsing, that's normal, like I said. And here you'll notice that you can actively press your stomach onto that rolled up sausage on the floor, right? So you can just lie down passively onto it, or if you want more, you can begin to press your stomach onto the towel. You might begin to feel things shifting, moving. And it can be intense. It's the type of thing, we're going to be here for a little while. It might not feel, I kind of got used to it. I kind of like it now. The first few times I did it, I didn't like it actually. It felt weird. So if it feels strange, if it feels weird, if you're not liking it, I'd say that's normal. But it's a type of thing that doesn't feel great in the moment, but you feel so relaxed when you come out of it. So let's stay here for a while. I will say though that if you've just eaten, maybe this isn't the best. So you might want to skip this one, come back to it when you're more on an empty stomach. And just close your eyes, allow yourself to relax onto it. Maybe increasingly adding more weights, pressing down onto the towel. And breathing. Press down more. Kind of arching the lower back here in order to press the navel down onto the towel. I know it's a lot. Breathe. You might have tension in the stomach that you didn't even know was there. And again, if that's the case, you might want to do this more often. So if you notice that you're incredibly tense, come back to this one. Make it a daily routine. Before bed could be a wonderful thing. If emotions come up to the surface, again, this is an area that can carry quite a bit. So if they do, that's okay. Just let it flow without necessarily overthinking it, overanalyzing it. Just take 3 more big breaths here. And then as you're ready, lift yourself out of this. We'll come and find a seat so you can use your hands to press up onto your hands and knees. Come and just sit back onto your heels for a moment. Hands can be on your lap. Close your eyes. Recalibrating for a bit. Noticing how you feel. I tend to want to go to sleep after this one. I find it so incredibly relaxing. Just notice the softness of your belly. Open your eyes and let's keep going. All right, so we did the stomach. Now, before we move on to the back, we'll do the arms just because it makes more sense in the position that we're already in. So from here, come to your tabletop position and we'll massage our forearms. So from your tabletop, you're gonna bring your left forearm on the floor, palm facing up, so kind of here in between your right hands and your knees. So right here in the middle, you might wanna come closer with the knees. You might wanna place your right elbow down. And then you'll use your right knee here to massage your lower back. So the palm is facing up. And then use your right knee to press onto the lower back. And again, you can kind of wiggle right and left. You can place more weight by lifting the right foot off the ground, really pressing your knee into your forearm. And moving up and down here, the right forearm. Again, you might find some knots that you didn't know were there. The forearms also tend to get very, very tight, whether it's because you type a lot on a computer or whether it's because you spend a lot of time on your hands in your yoga practice. So really go for it here. Use your right knee, exploring different areas of the right forearm. And it can be surprisingly tight here. If you're moving towards the right wrists, go a little lighter on the weight. I typically tend to avoid going directly onto the wrists. Feel it out. I'm not saying it's dangerous to do that. Just place less weight. Feel it out. Notice if it feels nice or if it feels not nice. And if it's not nice, just move over to another area. I'm definitely feeling this. This is kind of like the stomach one. It doesn't feel great right now. It feels kind of painful, to be honest. But it's the type of thing where once you're done, you feel so good. If you feel your fingers curling in as you move closer to the wrists, that also is perfectly normal. All right, and let's move on to the other one. So place your right knee down, come back into your tabletop position. And then from here, right forearm comes down, palm face up, coming onto the left elbow, and using your left knee here to massage into your right forearm. Self-massage is so satisfying, especially techniques like this where you don't need anything else, you're just using your own body. I find that very satisfying. Again, right? Be intuitive here. No strict instructions. Whatever feels nice. Learn to get into the body and noticing what it's asking of you. And the more you do this, the more you'll be able to hear what your body's saying. So I typically don't do this one for too long. One, because it can feel a little bit too much, and two, because honestly it's tiring for the left arm and the right knee here, the right leg. So I'll go for a little bit more, but we don't want to exhaust ourselves here either. But just notice, right? It's interesting to see how the forearms can be kind of tight, even though we wouldn't necessarily expect it. All right, coming out of this. Now we will do a shoulder stretch. So sit back onto knees and heels. Interlace your hands behind you. On the inhale, straighten the arms, look up. And on the exhale, bring your forehead to the floor. Modified child's pose, allowing the hands to travel up and over the head. On the inhale, coming back up. And then we'll do the lats now. So right here on the sides, kind of sides of the armpits. So this is where your yoga block comes in. Place it on the medium height, so second height, onto your mat horizontally. And here you're going to come and lie down onto it sideways and place the block here, kind of underneath the armpits, making contact with the ribs here, the first ribs that you might feel. So place the block there. And then here, you're simply going to kind of roll horizontally. So you might need to be a bit intuitive to know where exactly the block is needed, and you might feel some immediate tension. You can put the right hand behind the head if you wish, and just rolling up in front and back, and feel free to readjust where the block is. Another one that you wouldn't necessarily suspect would be this tight. And just kind of rolling front and back here. This is all feeling very intense for me today. Like I said, I've been very active, doing a lot of strength focused practices. So it's all feeling like I definitely needed it. And hopefully it's feeling nice at home as well. All right, and then we'll do the other side. A couple more breaths here, getting into it, maybe placing more weights onto the block. All right, and then switching sides. So bringing the other side onto the block, lying sideways. Bringing the block kind of underneath the armpits in contact with the ribs here as well. I immediately feel this one as soon as I lie down onto it, and then feel free to readjust the placement of the block. And rolling forward and back onto it. Couple more breaths. All right. All right. And then lifting out of it, and we'll do the back. So I keep thinking that we're done with the foam roller, but not at all. We're going to use it for our mid back. So place the foam roller horizontally behind you. Super straightforward here. Lie down onto it. You're going to place your feet on the floor. Lift your bum off the ground. Hands can come wherever is comfortable. You just don't want them dragging on the floor. And then be intuitive about this one, rolling onto the foam roller. So here you are definitely using your core a little bit to stabilize yourself. Rolling up and down. We will do the upper back with another technique later, so don't really worry too much about the upper back. I would focus more on the kind of mid section here. And if you find yourself slipping backwards, feel free to readjust. Hands could also come behind your head here for a little bit of support if you wish. And maybe you stay on one specific spot. I know this one is a little bit of work. It definitely is. We won't be here too long, but the back is loving this. Feels great. All right, let's release out of it. And like I said, we'll do the upper back now. And this will actually be our last exercise for today. So use your block, place it horizontally behind you. This is one of my very favorites. And then from here, the block is going to come, if you have a strap, it's going to come at the level of your strap. If you're wearing some sort of bra here, it's going to come at the level of a strap. It's pretty much right underneath the shoulder blades to start, and then we'll readjust the height. So it's coming on medium height, horizontally right underneath the shoulder blades here. So find the proper placement. It can take me a little bit of time sometimes to find it. And then your feet are going to come close to you, very close to you. Place the hands behind the head, and then on the inhale, allow the upper body to incline down. I often get a crack here. I did get one. And then on the exhale, come back up, elbows come in. Inhale, release down. Exhale, back up. Really allowing yourself to melt all the way back. On the inhale, opening the elbows. And on the exhale, back up. All right, now let's move the block a little bit higher up, really getting into the upper back. Hands behind you. On the inhale, release back. You might get a new crack. And on the exhale, come back up. Couple more. Inhale back. Exhale up. Last time, inhale back. Really let yourself melt. And exhale up. All right, my friends, and this is it. Place your elbows down, remove the block. Again, if you want to do this for longer, feel free to pause the video and go for it. And if you have your block, I'm going to ask you to sit onto it, bringing your legs in a cross-legged position, elongating your spine, Closing your eyes, hands on your knees, and just taking a little moment to recalibrate, to reset, to notice how you feel. Maybe do a few neck rolls here as well. Intuitive neck rolls. And then bringing the head back up to center. Maybe you use your hands onto your temples. Give yourself a little temple massage. I like to press quite firmly here. And then move your fingers underneath the ear here, kind of at the place where the jaw meets the earlobe, and press here. You might find a trigger point that's going to feel quite sensitive, just giving it a nice firm press. Then release your hands down, palms face up, close your eyes. Let's take 3 deep breaths. When you're ready, big inhale in. Big exhale out. Big inhale in. Big exhale out. Last one, big inhale. Big exhale. Palms and the hands onto your legs. Maybe you're giving yourself a nice little rub. Thumb and index can come onto the hip creases, giving yourself a nice firm press down. Good, let that go and open your eyes. I hope that you feel good as new, that you feel nice and relaxed, that you have been able to release some tension, some knots in the body. Like I said, feel free to come back to this video anytime you need it. And I hope to see you here on the mat again very soon. Have a great rest of your day.